check it out. What's up everybody, Super Durex fan here for another weekly update, number 36 on this Friday. So, what's new with the BRZ? Well, I finally ordered snow tires. I checked the weather forecast last night and saw that it's supposed to snow next week. And I was like, well, I guess I can't put off buying winter tires any longer, so I went and bought them off of Tire Rack, who are amazing, by the way, with how fast they ship their tires out. I ordered them last night, they shipped out first thing this morning. Doesn't get any better than that, so big shout out to Tire Rack. I've been ordering tires from them for the past 6 years, I think, and I've ordered several pairs of tires. They've always been awesome. Love Tire Rack. But the tires I bought were the Dunlop Winter Sport M3s. I bought them for two reasons. First is because they were on special and there was a good deal on them, and second was because I've always ran the Blizzak LM30s, I think they're called, and they're like the sporty winter tires that Bridgestone makes, and the Blizzaks are amazing. I had those on my Legacy for 5 years and it was unstoppable in the snow. Really, really impressive tires. But the thing is, whenever it wasn't cold outside and whenever, you know, there wasn't snow on the ground, they handled like crap and they were pretty noisy too. So that's one of the things that just kind of sucked, having winter tires on the car all the time. And I have a friend that has run Dunlop Winter Sport M3s for about almost 5 years on his Legacy, and they wear just as long. They actually are just as good in the snow as the Blizzaks, according to him. And on top of that, they actually handle pretty decently whenever there isn't snow on the ground, which all sounded pretty good to me. So I figured, what the heck, I'll give it a try and see, especially since I was able to get a good deal on them on Tire Rack. You know, I've mentioned how I was thinking about possibly getting winter rims, and then I just decided that I'm just going to keep these rims on because I still really want to get those STI rims off of the Sport Edition that's over in Japan, and those STI rims look amazing, so I'd like to upgrade to those next summer. If I don't, no big deal. I'm going to Plasti Dip these stock rims black to protect them and you know, keep the stock finish on them nice, just in case I want to use them again in the summer. I can just peel off the Plasti Dip and hopefully they'll look brand new under there. So yeah, I'm going to Plasti Dip them black. I'll do a video whenever I Plasti Dip them. I have never Plasti Dipped anything before in my life, so I'm not an expert. And another thing is that I made a Twitter account, so you can follow me on Twitter at SuperWXFan. And I just know that some people aren't as into Facebook anymore, and more people are on Twitter now. And so I decided to make a Twitter account, and so you'll be able to follow me. You can hear my random ramblings about car news, about the BRZ, about, you know, just random things that cross my mind about cars. So if any of that sounds appealing to you, then make sure to definitely go follow me on Twitter at SuperWXFan. The last little bit of news is that it was interesting. I mentioned last week in the news portion that you know, the 2015 Mustang is going to have 3 different engines. It's going to have a 4-cylinder turbo, the V6, and the V8. And that was all revealed through a survey that Ford had put out. And I actually got that survey through Ford's affiliate, and I found it interesting that Ford seems to be targeting BRZ and FRS owners, because they asked me for my opinion about how I would do a Mustang if I were to build one. And so that's pretty cool. It'll be interesting because now I'm even more interested in the Mustang, the fact that they're curious about BRZ owners' thoughts on the car. So yeah, that's it for all the BRZ updates, so I'll send it back to me at the news desk for this week's news. Right, so for this week's news, the first thing is Nissan revealed a radical concept called the Bladeglider, and it's supposed to be coming, you know, out at Tokyo here, and I don't know if this is the car that they were talking about whenever they were dissing the BRZ and FRS the past week or two, but that is very radical for sure. I don't think that's quite an FRS or BRZ competitor. I don't know. I hope that Nissan has another concept that is an actual baby 370Z that they're planning on releasing, because this is very cool, but still very much a concept. They say they want to produce this, though, which is awesome. I mean, it looks amazing. I don't know how I feel about the vertical doors, though, considering it is a Nissan after all. But hey, I think it looks amazing regardless. I love the 1+2 seating setup. I mean, it would just feel like you're flying a jet or something with the way that cockpit is. Looks absolutely amazing, and yeah, that would be very interesting to see how that would perform. They're saying it would be an all-electric car. I hope they make an actual hybrid version of this that has some form of a gasoline engine. That way you're not just totally out of luck once the batteries die. But that would be amazing if they just put like the Honda CRZ has its, hybrid power plant with a small little gasoline motor. Throw something like that in this, and I think Nissan would have a real winner on their hands. That thing has got to be lightweight. And in other crazy car concepts, at the Dubai Motor Show, Shmee150 showed us this car called the Devil 16, which is apparently this car that has 5,000 horsepower, they claim, and a 350 mile per hour top speed. And yes, all of that is complete BS. Because, I mean, first off, for Bugatti to have a W16 with 4 turbos that puts out 1,200 horsepower in its highest spec, I mean, yeah, maybe they're withholding a little bit of power there, but I mean, to just keep all of that cool, I mean, this thing would burst into flames immediately if it had 5,000 horsepower. It's so hard to keep something like that running at a cool temperature and to have 350 mile per hour top speeds. As Autoblog points out, there's not even any tires out there that can handle 350 miles per hour, at least not street tires. I mean, yeah, if you want to put maybe some crazy, slicks on it that they use on funny cars or something, fine, but not sure how this is realistic at all. I don't know if this is just an elaborate joke or what. I mean, it looks amazing, and I mean, I would love a car with 5,000 horsepower and 350 mile per hour top speed, but that is not realistic at all. Maybe come back in about 50 years and something like that will sound reasonable, but not in the year 2013. And in more realistic concepts, Toyota revealed a new version of the FT86 Open concept that they're going to be debuting here at Tokyo. And it's basically like the same exact GT86 convertible concept we got earlier, except this one is in a different color for the interior and exterior, and it's right-hand drive. Aside from that, it's the same exact car. And this is interesting that they even are showing this, though, considering there's been reports that the convertible version was dead. I never really believed those reports, just for the fact that Toyota said and Subaru said when they engineered this car, they engineered it to be a convertible, and that it would take very little work to turn it into a convertible. Now, some people are saying they're having second thoughts and saying, well, maybe it needs more power if it's going to be a little bit heavier with the convertible, this, that, and the other. But I don't think it would take a whole lot to turn this into a rigid convertible. I think it's already a very rigid car already, and even if you remove the roof, it's still going to be a pretty good car. An interesting little bit of news here is that the next Batmobile is supposed to be built by GM, according to this one Batman news site. And many of you know that I'm a huge fan of Batman. The #1 watched video on my channel is of the 3 Tumbler Batmobiles that we're driving. That has well over 3 million views on it. I love the Tumbler. I've loved all of the Batmobiles, and I've seen them all in person, have videos of that on my channel as well. And so GM has the huge responsibility of designing the next Batmobile, apparently. And I mean, I'm a Batman fan, so maybe I'm biased, but I would venture to say that that is probably one of the most important things GM is ever going to be building in the next 10 years, is the next Batmobile. That's the car that every kid is going to idolize. They're going to have toys and posters, and it's going to be the definition of a cool car for the next 10 years or so until the next series of Batman comes out. So GM, don't screw this up. Another piece of great news that came out this week is that this whole BMW Toyota partnership that we've been hearing about, people were hoping that a new Super would come out with an M3 powertrain and things like that. This news is saying that this partnership is going to spawn a hybrid supercar for Toyota. And so Toyota's doing testing on the i8, and the i8's a great car, but everyone wanted it to be this fast supercar, and it's really not. It's got a 3-cylinder engine, and the hybrid system is fantastic. I mean, it's a very cool car, but a lot of people just wanted it to be an insanely powerful car, and it isn't. It sounds like Toyota wants to take this 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8 that BMW has in the M5 and put it in the i8 on top of one of Toyota's awesome hybrid systems and make a really sweet supercar. And that just sounds so awesome. I really hope they do that. That would be amazing. Something that's not so amazing, though, is the 2014 Honda Civic Coupe. They teased it last week, and I love the way the back end looked from that one teaser shot. But now they've showed us the front end, unfortunately, and it just looks miserable. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think that looks awful. Worst Honda design in recent memory. Another car that came out at SEMA, I mean, SEMA's been going on all week. There's been a ton of crazy custom cars that came out at SEMA. Not really going to talk about all those because they're not production cars. They're just customized cars people decided to bring to a show. But one cool thing is that Dodge brought a bunch of cool stuff to the show. And one thing is actually a production car. They've announced that the 2014 Challenger RT is going to have a shaker hood option, which, as many of you know, I love retro and vintage kind of stuff, and so that car is going to be a throwback to the 70s shaker hood Dodge Challengers. And I gotta say, I love the brand of Dodge recently, with the way they're just, I mean, people have said, oh, retro's dead, the new Mustang has to be futuristic, and the Camaro is getting rid of its retro cues a lot. Dodge is just like, screw it. We have the same Challenger we've had since 2008. We love the way it looks because they know they nailed the looks the first time, and they're just like, screw it. We're going to go even more retro. We're going to give it a shaker hood. That is awesome. Dodge, thumbs up for me. That is sweet. And on top of that, if you haven't seen all the Ron Burgundy Dodge commercials for the new Dodge Durango, they're hilarious. Probably some of the best car commercials in the past 5 years at least. I mean, hilarious. Do yourself a favor if you haven't seen them yet. Go on Dodge's YouTube page and watch all those Ron Burgundy commercials. They're hilarious. Another good bit of news is that Jaguar has teased the F-Type Coupe that we all knew was coming. We've seen so many test mules driving around, and now it's finally here. But one thing that we have been revealed is that it actually is going to have a glass roof, which is amazing and disappointing at the same time, because everyone was hoping the Coupe would be lighter. And, you know, because that's the thing, is Jags are always a little bit on the heavy side, and so, you know, put a coupe on it, that way it's not as heavy as the convertible, it'd probably be a better handling car, yada yada yada. And they put a glass roof in it, which is amazing for the driving experience, but that means now that the weight isn't going to drop as much, because glass is obviously pretty heavy, so, but that still looks amazing, from the air at least, and I'm sure it's going to be a beautiful car. Can't wait to see the actual coupe, and here's hoping they actually include a manual transmission version whenever they announce this car. And another luxury brand, Lexus, has revealed the production version of their RC Coupe that we've been seeing all kinds of cool spy shots of. And to be quite honest, I had higher hopes for the looks. I mean, I guess it shouldn't be shocked that Lexuses haven't been especially pretty recently. This one, I mean, I guess it looks slightly better than some of the other Lexuses recently, but that front end is still pretty rough. Very, very aggressive. Another quick bit of news is that Bugatti has unveiled a third special edition, the Legend editions that they've been doing of the Veyron, and this one pays tribute to Mayo Constantini, and it's interesting, you know, it's like a turquoise and gray silvery mirror finish. Very nice looking, I think, actually, but yeah, they make a new special edition of this car every week, it seems, so yeah, that's cool, whatever. And the last thing is that IIHS, which is the Institute for Highway Safety, they just gave a Top Safety Pick Plus award to the Volvo XC90, which, first off, that Top Safety Pick Plus is especially hard to get. It's this new barely frontal overlap crash test that puts cars through a lot of stress, and most cars aren't engineered to handle that kind of hit very well. And this is a 10-year-old Volvo, and it just passed with flying colors. I mean, I've always said Volvo is probably the best still if you're talking about safety and stuff, and that just, I couldn't believe it when I read that. That is amazing. Volvo should be running commercials advertising the fact that this car has such a high safety pick. I mean, if you want a safe car, buy a Volvo. No questions about it. Best out there. So yeah, that's it for all the news this week, guys, so send it back to me in the car. Alright, so I'll leave you with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. And here we go. So yeah, love this car, so much fun, and yeah, thanks for watching again. I'll see you next week. Take care.